Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thrilled to have you. My name is Reagan Copeland. I am Duval County Public Schools Parent Academy Supervisor. Joining me tonight, I have my fabulous team, Christina Rakelmy, who's a specialist with Parent Academy, and Ashley Vanden Myracker, who's also a specialist with Parent Academy. And let me tell you, we have some special guests on with us this evening. We have an expert from our school choice department, a dear friend, Jennifer Marcellus. We have the fabulous Katrina Taylor with sharing some mental health information. And we have Christina Hanna also with us as a special guest from Hazel Health. So all sorts of fabulous information upcoming this evening. But before we get started, wanted to take a moment to share with you some housekeeping and some explanation as to how this evening will go. First and foremost, as you are coming and as the others are filing in, wanted to let you know that we are recording. Well, we're recording ourselves, not you. And that's because families are busy. This time of evening is crazy for many. And though some of you are able to join us and we're thrilled to have you, many cannot. So we record the session and have it available on our website so that families can jump in, refer a friend, tell a family member about it. You've got to watch this. We will have it edited and recorded or edited and placed on our website the first of next month. So please tell your friends and families to jump on our website, duvalschools.org/Parent Academy, and check out our course recordings, which are updated every month. So we try to make sure we cover a wealth of information that takes this giant county of Duval County and this giant school district and helps to shrink it down just a little bit more for you to simplify things and help connect you to the resources that you need. One other thing before we get started, and that is social media. If you've made your way to our website, you have seen that we're on just about every social media outlet, and that's because we want to make sure that we bring the information we're offering to your fingertips as easily and quickly as we can, because courses like these are multiple times a week. And if there's a topic that would help you and your family, we want to make sure you know about it and can connect with us, because that's our goal. We're a free family resource. And if we don't know the information, if one of the three of us can't help, we absolutely know someone who can. All right. If I missed anything, ladies?
I don't think so.
All right, let's get started. All right, here we go. Welcome to Team Duval. I am not going to assume that just because you're on this call, that means that you are brand new to Duval, but it's probably likely. Otherwise, you may be a couple years in and you want to know some new stuff. So hopefully we're able to share, shed some light on some topics for you that maybe you have questions about. As we go along this presentation, if you do have questions, pretty please place them in the chat. Christina Rakelmy will be answering chat questions along the way. And at the very end of the presentation, we will be sure to also go through any questions you may have and answer them if we can. And if not, we'll connect you to the answers. All right, what would be a school year without a school calendar? Folks, this is the DCPS calendar, and as of now, right now in this moment, this is an accurate calendar for what the school year holds. Now, one hurricane might make a big difference. So today and right now, presently, this is it. What you see here is a school year calendar. The purpley, pinky kind of blocks, those are early releases. They used to be twice a month. Now they are once a month. What this means for your student, no matter what school they're in, they get out of school an hour and a half early that day. So wherever, I can't say, I don't know what schools your students are at, but their ending time is an hour and a half earlier. You want to check into that because the very first early release of the school year is next week. This is an opportunity for teachers to have professional development, meet together, plan together, get trained so that they can be the best resource to your students. The orange blocks, those are our weather days. We learned several years ago to build those into our calendar. Mother Nature can come in with the fury, so we sometimes have to close down our school district for weather days, and those days, if we don't need them, we get the day off. But if something does arise that causes schools to close for too many days, those orange days basically become the white days and kids go on to school and school is in session. Those will be made in announcements and phone calls and emails to home. So you will be well aware of that in advance. The yellow days, schools are closed. That doesn't mean the district offices aren't open. That just means schools are closed and kids will be home with you for that day or that week. Report cards with that little swivel swirl, that means 4 times a year you will be looking up a report card. Now, most schools don't print report cards anymore like they used to. You will go into your Parent Focus account, which we'll talk about more in a few slides, and you will look up your kids' grades. Hopefully, you've been watching them along the way, so you won't be too surprised. Definitely want to check in with those weekly, daily, whatever works for you. And finally, the magical purple day, the last day of school, but it's a long way away. So you'll see at the very end, May 31st, my dad's birthday, but also the last day of school. So that's exciting. And that is our school calendar, folks. If we have any weather events, it will be updated and on our district's website with the new dates and colors.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Reagan. This is Lorene Ricks. I work in the Office of Marketing and Communications, and I'm talking about the Linked Parent Account Initiative, or Get Linked. So what is the Get Linked campaign? Many of you may have seen this on our district social media platforms or on our website and wondered what this means. It's essentially an initiative designed to increase the number of parents with a linked parent account. Notice we use the word linked. Anyone, and it's very easy to create a parent account in OneView. It takes about 5 minutes. But the key is that you then have to link that parent account to your child's account in Focus. And that is what leads to you being able to, as a parent, having access to your child's academic information in Focus, as well as a host of other things that are very important to you as a parent of a DCPS student. So because having a linked parent account is such an essential function, we created this campaign back in April. When we started, we had about 76% of our parents with a linked parent account. And I'm happy to say at this time, we have about 86%. So we're going to continue to increase. You're going to continue to see these ads on our social media, on our website. You may get messages about this, but it's just very important that parents understand the importance of having a linked parent account. And I believe the next slide is going to go into more of the reasons why having a linked account is necessary for you as a parent.
Yep. So the linked parent account gives you 24-hour access to all of your student information, grades, assignments, state testing results, school choice applications, bus transportation request form. You can communicate with your teachers, pretty much almost everything that the district has available for parents and families at this point is going to be available in that linked parent account, and typically only available in that linked parent account. There is an older version of this course. We used to call it Everything in Focus. And there's an older version of this course that's available on our website right now. It's also available on our YouTube page in English, Spanish, and Arabic. So if you know someone who needs it in one of those languages, it's older, but for the most part, all of the information is still relevant, which is why it's still up. And then we have the live course coming up next week, and that recording will take the place of the old one. So if you know anybody who needs it, we would love to have them join us. We'd love to have you join us on August 30th.
Okay, staying connected. Schools and the district are constantly trying to get in contact with you and get information to you as parents and families. The best way that they can get in contact with you is to make sure that your parent contact information is updated. So, and this may get confusing, but I want to go through two different types of parent contact information that we have for our families and how to make sure they are updated in both places. Think about this as, let's say, storage bins. So one of those storage bins is your parent contact information that is in OneView. That's the parent contact info that you create when you're creating your linked parent account. Okay, so that's essentially in OneView. And the way that you update it is logging into your OneView account and then selecting edit information. And then you are able to um, update, check, and update the phone number and email if needed. This is important because this is the information that schools and the district use to send you automated phone calls. So those phone calls that you may get about attendance or an emergency situation, such as, let's say, a lockdown at the school, or I know there were several schools this week where there was a boil water advisory, for example. So we send those messages out through our automated communication system, and the parent contact information that we are using is the one that's in your OneView account or the one that's associated with your linked parent account. So it's very important for you to update that. And as I said earlier, you can update it yourself by logging into your OneView account and then going into where it says My Contact Info, and you'll see what we have listed for your parent contact information. The other parent contact information or storage bin is the information that's in Focus, and it's associated with your students' information in Focus. So you can go into Focus right now and you can check what is my contact information associated. I apologize if this is confusing, but what does Focus have listed as my contact information associated with my student? This is separate than the other storage bin that I was just talking about, the OneView. With Focus, you have to actually go to your child's school to get that information updated. And I'll state that again, to update the information that you see associated with your child in Focus, you have to go to your child's school. Now, this contact information is also important because this is essentially what is used for any official district business, such as the transportation process, or if you want to participate in the school choice process, they're using the contact information that is associated with your child's information and for this. So it's very important to recognize the difference between these two types of contact information, contact info, and how can update each. Um, that sort of segues into the next section, automated calls. As I said earlier, pretty much the best way to make sure you're getting those automated calls is to make sure the parent contact information in OneView is up to date. We're using the parent contact info in OneView to send you I'll say the automated communications, excuse me, because those communications can be a phone call, it can be an email, it can be even a text. That's how, when there's bus delays, that's how we're sending information out to families is via text. So make sure that your contact information is updated so you receive those automated communications from the school and the district. Um, Skipping ahead to teamduval.org. This is just a place where we post information, it's both informational news as well as feature news, things that we can highlight about a school or some sort of celebration. So you can go to teamduval.org. You can even subscribe so you get an email notification anytime we post on teamduval.org. And the last thing, as Reagan mentioned earlier, is please stay connected with us on our social media platforms. We have Twitter, which I believe is now X, Facebook, Instagram, and we even have LinkedIn. So a lot of the important information, as well as just the good news, celebrations, and highlights that we have, we also push out on our social media. So it'd be great if you followed us on there. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorene. So we're going to move on to bus transportation, which I'm sure you may have heard in the news. We do have an extreme bus driver shortage in the district right now. It's really nationwide. So this is a very important topic if you rely on bus transportation to get your student to and from school. The district does provide transportation for those who live more than 1.5 miles from their zoned neighborhood school. The bus stop can actually be up to 1 mile away from your address, though. So you may need to look at where your bus stop is and then figure out how you're going to provide transportation from home to the bus stop if it is one that's farther away, up to 1 mile. Transportation is provided for students who attend their neighborhood school. That's also referred to, a lot of times you'll hear district office personnel say their zoned school. That is just their neighborhood school. So it's the school that they are meant to attend based on the address where you live. So those students all get transportation provided if they live that 1.5 miles away or more. And then those students who attend a dedicated magnet school. Parents have to sign their student up. They have to register for bus transportation using the bus transportation request form that is found in your linked parent account under the focus side. I know you heard us mention OneView and Focus earlier. All the forms are going to be in the Focus side. So if you have a Focus account that's linked to your student, that is your linked parent account. Just continue to log into Focus the same way, and you will have access to all of those forms. So the bus transportation request form is found under your student's name. And then once you complete that form and you register your student, you can log back in after it's been processed, and you'll actually see if it says yes or no for for if they're eligible for the bus. And then that will help you with your next steps. Typically, it takes 7 to 10 days for the bus route to be, for the request form to be processed, and then for the bus route to be assigned. I say typically it is the beginning of the year. The transportation department, I know they just didn't have enough people to answer all the phone calls and emails last week. From what I've heard, they're still pretty swamped this week. So this time of year, it could take a little bit longer than that 7 to 10 days for all of that to process. The alternate address form is a separate request. That is if you need your child to get picked up or dropped off at a different location. So if your, say, middle schooler is at a daycare in the morning for before school care, and they need to get picked up from there and then taken to the bus, that would be, or to the school, sorry. That would be an alternate address form. Or if they go to an aunt or an uncle's house in the morning and they get on the bus there instead of at home because you don't want them home alone in the morning, that would be an alternate address request form as well. So that form takes about 2 weeks to process. Again, they're pretty behind right now. I know last week they were telling families that were calling that the alternate address request, they weren't even going to begin processing the new submissions for another 2 weeks. So right now they're focusing on those primary transportation requests, and then they will work on the alternate address request. So if that's something that you've already submitted, just please be patient with them right now as they are trying to work through all of these requests. I mentioned earlier there is a bus driver shortage. We have a dedicated webpage on the district site for when there is a bus delay. That website is duvalschools.org/bus delays. Buses that are expected to be delayed 30 minutes or more. So if it's supposed to arrive at its stop or its destination 30 minutes or more late, that bus will be on this list. It gets updated in the morning, it gets updated in the afternoon. They're updating it live. The district has purchased an app for this year called EduLog, EDULOG. When that is active, schools will let you know. You can create an account. You'll be able to log into it, and your student will use their student ID badge. They will swipe it when they get on the bus, and then they will swipe it when they get off the bus. So you will know exactly what bus your student has gotten on, what time they got on the bus, exactly what bus stop they got off, and what time they got off the bus at. at. So it will help you sort of track your student when they're on that bus, and it will help you know, is the bus running late? And it will be real-time updates that you can find on the app. Again, that's not currently available for every school right now. It's a process, so expect a call out and some more information to come when they have that available for everyone this year. If you need to reach the bus transportation department, their contact information is up here. It is DCPS transportation at duvalschools.org, or you can give them a call at 858-6200. Again, if you are calling them right now, it is safe to say you may be on hold upwards of 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have the ability to send them an email and wait for them to get back to you, that might be a more pleasant experience than staying on the phone for 45 minutes listening to that hold music. But I also know sometimes we just need an answer right now. So if you are able and can call, then please do so. Again, register for the transportation if they need it. It is absolutely a must. Bus stops, especially right now, arrive early. And if the bus is late, because we do have a chance of that this year, I know they sent out the message for everyone in the district that you could expect delays up to 15 minutes sometimes in the morning. So if the bus is not there and it's been 15 minutes, just keep waiting if you can. But because of that bus driver shortage, it's very important right now that we don't leave our young children alone at the bus stop. So if you are able to stay with them until you see the bus coming and stopping, that would be the safest bet. And then the code of conduct absolutely still applies to our students on the bus. Bus transportation is a privilege and it can be revoked if there is misbehavior or misconduct on the bus. So keep that in mind and just have those conversations with your students about the seriousness and the safety of everyone involved.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Marcellus, and I'm with the Office of School Choice. I have some information this evening to share with parents about controlled opening enrollment and about the on-time application window, which will open in January of next year for the 24-25 school year. So first, controlled open enrollment. By state statute, we are a choice district when we do participate in controlled open enrollment. Applications for controlled open enrollment are placed after any on-time applications are placed at a school. Please note that every school has a capacity, very much like any restaurant has a capacity by the fire marshal. We are only able to put a specific number of students in any school, which does mean that placement is not guaranteed. The application window for the first quarter of this year is currently closed. The application windows will open up again. You'll see at the bottom of the slide, there'll be 4 additional opportunities for this school year for students to be placed or to apply at a school of choice. Those applications will be available on our website, not in your focus portal, but on our school choice website, and the information is listed here on the slide. Of course, the information will be on our website. In addition to seat availability information will be listed for parents who are interested in making a different choice at those points during the school year. So we can move on to the on-time application window. So this year we get an extra day for the lottery application window this year. It is January 1st through February 29th. Applications will be available to parents in their focus account, their parent focus account. It is important to note that the address information in focus is what we use for priorities for the lottery and for all priorities, whether it be for your residential address or for a sibling priority. We will, let's see. So this application window is for families who want to make a choice that is different than their zone neighborhood school. We know families make choices for a lot of reasons, and we do encourage families to apply during the on-time application window because it is that time of year where the most amount of seats are available for any one grade level, with the knowledge that the number of seats available in grades 1 through 5, 7 and 8, and 10 through 12 may be limited based on the fact that students usually enter a school at K, 6, and 9, and once a student is placed, they usually stay at a school. Again, placement is not guaranteed. Families may make up to 2 magnet school choices and 1 special transfer option choice. If a family receives a magnet assignment and they have submitted an STO, a special transfer option application, then that special transfer option application will be canceled because magnet schools have priority. If you have questions in the short term, if you have questions about this school year, your current assignment, things like that, please, please, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at school_choice@duvalschools.org, or I'm going to put my email address in the chat box, and you can reach out to me tonight or tomorrow, and I will process those questions in a timely fashion. We do take appointments at our office. That is the preferred. If you want to come in and speak to somebody, that is the preference. In addition to, we will be hosting parent academies throughout the months of November, December, and January, explaining the process to families. And we look forward to seeing you right around the corner.
All right. Thank you, Jen. So elementary testing, this is something that happens in all grades, kindergarten through 5th. In kindergarten, students will take the Waterford Reading Assessment. It is a computer-based test. It only takes about 15 minutes. It's usually processed or given within the first month of school. It is just to establish a baseline and see where our kindergarten babies are at and where we need to go from there. Other baseline assessments for all grades, kindergarten through 5th grade, students will take a STAR reading and math assessment. Again, this just is a baseline and it helps with their online blended learning that they use in school. Throughout the year, these baselines will guide the lessons that they're assigned online for that. And we have some more specific courses coming up later in the school year where you can actually hear from our district specialists and they can take you through that process if that is something that you're interested in. And then the district also assesses students in reading and math for grades K through 5. So I know this seems like a lot of testing for our students, and it's all at the beginning of the year. The testing that they do at the beginning of the year truly is only that testing that is absolutely necessary for the instruction to take place in the most meaningful way for the rest of the school year. Like I said, the Waterford test is only about 15 minutes. The STAR reading and math test, I think, are 30 to 45 minutes. Same with the district reading, math, and math test. So we know it's a lot of testing, but we try to limit it to as little amount of time as possible. And again, it's also our teachers know what groups to pull or what things to focus on. And then the only additional test that elementary students will take is science, and that is for 5th grade only. And that is because at the end of the year, they will have the FAST test for science, the way that they take the reading, writing, and math test with FAST. So those are the baseline assessments that our students will take at the beginning of the year. And then throughout the year, they will take what we call progress monitoring assessments. Now, the subjects that they'll be tested in vary by grade level, but pretty much all kindergarten through 5th will take some type of reading and math progress monitoring assessment. And kindergarten through 2nd grade, it's called the STAR progress monitoring assessment. And then in grades 3 through 5, it's called the FAST progress monitoring assessment. There is a testing window that is established by the state of Florida, and then each school will determine their testing schedule within that testing window. If you want to see when that window is, if you're trying to plan vacations for the rest of the year, or if you just want to know what's coming and when, the district has a testing site. It is dcps.duvalschools.org/testing. Typically, most schools, as the testing windows approach, will send communication out to parents, letting you know what specific days they're planning to test. That way, you know to make sure your student gets a great night's sleep the night before and eats a nice, healthy breakfast the morning of and can get to school on time. And that is our elementary testing that we do in the month of August and September.
All right, so now we've got our secondary, and secondary consists of students in grade 6 through 12th grade. I am going to give you a broad overview of what this looks like, but know that there are special programs and pathways that students take that may have them in a different set of testing requirements. So programs like these might include the IB program or the ACE program. So if your student is taking specialized program pathways, they may not be participating in all of the assessments that we're about to go over. So these are formative and summative assessments. Similar to elementary, students will begin the school year with the Admentum Exact Pathway. This is for that blended learning software programs when students are placed at certain levels for their Lexile, which of course teachers are watching all along the way to ensure that students' Lexile levels are increasing, which means their comprehension is also increasing as the difficulty of the text also is increasing. Same applies to math, wanting to make sure that they're mastering certain skills as their math courses become more advanced throughout middle and high school. Baseline assessments, just like elementary school, teachers want to have, the district also wants to have a good idea of where our students are beginning the year so that they know what to teach, how often to teach it, and whether or not their students have already mastered a topic and they can move beyond that and focus on something else more intensely. So this is just a baseline understanding of where our students fall, and those should be beginning very soon. As Ashley mentioned before, that testing window, which means it could be anywhere from August 26th through September 18th. Sometime in those weeks, your student may be taking a test in various courses. So multiple courses, they will receive this baseline assessment. BEST assessments, that's an acronym for Benchmarks for Excellent Student Thinking, which are Florida standards now. BEST assessments will be given to only students who are enrolled in Algebra 1, Geometry, and for those students taking the writing assessment, which takes place 4th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, I believe. So they will each take that BEST assessment at the end of the school year. And the purpose of that test is to make sure that our students are understanding and able to excel in the Florida standards. Fast progress monitoring, just like elementary school, these PMAs are taken 3 times a year, the beginning of the year, so it will be soon, the middle of the year, either shortly after they come back from Christmas or winter break, and some schools may even start it right before that winter break. And then again at the end of the year, usually in the month of May, to check for mastery of those standards. Fast grade 10 retake. So grade 10 is a precious year. This is the year where our students must pass their reading, English language arts, state assessment. If the students are not able to pass it the first round, this is a graduation requirement. So those students will have multiple opportunities to take it again throughout the year, 11th and in 12th grade as well. They can also have a concordant score with other assessments, meaning a test that if they didn't pass that fast reading assessment, there's another score that would be comparable to that, but it is a graduation requirement. At the beginning of the slide, I mentioned that ACE testing. These students on this track, as well as the IB track, are taking assessments to their end of course assessments, and if they achieve a level 3, 4, or 5, they earn college credits for those courses. If a student takes that course and earns a 1 or 2, they will not. They can still pass the course, but will not earn those college credits. So not all students will be taking those assessments, but all students will be taking progress monitoring and FAST grade 10. Finally, EOCs. This stands for end of course exams. And these 4 courses listed, Biology 1, Civics, U.S. History, and Algebra 1 are all graduation requirements. Each of our students in Duval County must pass these end of course exams to be able to graduate. And I can assure you schools are adding as many resources and support and tutor sessions and after school support programs to ensure our students are most successful in these 4 areas as they are required. You may have a middle school student taking some of these courses, and if so, then they are on an accelerated track. Support them as best you can, ensure that they are attending any extra tutoring or maybe even before school opportunities that the schools are offering to make sure that your student is going to pass that end of course exam. And we've got the SAT, ACT. These are ongoing. And by that, I mean every 2 months, I believe. I think there's an August SAT and then an October SAT. And that October SAT takes place in schools. High schools will offer that. PSAT for our 9th and 10th graders. It's called a practice run. I highly encourage your students. Oftentimes students will want to stay home that day, sleep in, and I get it. I do. I live with a teenager, but I made him get up and go just to take that test. Although it doesn't count, it's a really great idea to know how you are performing. Also, there are many scholarships attached to SATs and ACTs. So it's best to get them taking them as often as possible because they do better each time they take it. And like on the previous slide, for more specific information about timelines, do visit that website. Duval County keeps it updated so that families have an idea of when to expect what, because I do recognize it's a lot, but all to ensure our students are successful.
All right, so for our attendance in the district, if your student is going to be absent, the district does ask that you contact the school as soon as possible. We know that not all absences can be, made aware of ahead of time. Injuries, illnesses happen, emergencies come up. So when the student returns to school, a written excuse is required regardless of the reason they were out, even if it's not an absence that would be considered excused. So if your student is out for any reason, please send a written note in with them. Even if they're in middle school or high school, the secondary students, they still need a note. It just gets handled a little bit differently at the school level than it does in elementary when the students give it directly to their teachers. Excused absences include illness, injury, a death in the family, inclement weather, flooding, tropical storms, hurricanes. If the district closes, it's an excused absence. Official religious holidays, or also bus failure or the bus schedule. So I know we talked about the bus delays and the bus transportation issues we're having with the driver shortage earlier in the presentation. If for some reason the bus does not come to your child's stop that day and your child can't get to school, that will not be an unexcused absence or held against your child. So it would still be an excused absence. They would be allowed to make up all of the work, and the school would assist them with making sure that that happened. There are certain times that a doctor's note is required, not just a handwritten note from the parent or guardian. And those instances would include if your student is absent for 3 or more consecutive days. So 3 or more days in a row, then the school district requires a note from the doctor. If your student has had surgery or if they have been to the hospital. So if they break an arm, like my son did last year, and they visit the hospital for it, the school district needs a note from the doctor or the hospital letting them know that it is in fact safe and okay for your child to come back to school and resume activity. If they've been under a doctor's care for significant illness, so this was particularly true when there were lots of cases of COVID. It's still very true if COVID's flaring up, or the flu, or strep throat, things that go around like that. If they've been under a doctor's care, please send in a note from the doctor. Again, letting the school know that they're cleared to come back. They can resume and return to all normal activity, including recess and PE, sports, all the things that they really want to get back to school and do and that they enjoy. And then if they are returning to school after they have been excluded because of a communicable disease, then absolutely please make sure that they have a note from the doctor. Otherwise, the school may give you a call a little bit later asking you to come pick them up because they can't be at school without that doctor's note. And Miss Katrina Taylor is going to share with you some information about all the wonderful school mental health resources we have available in our district.
Good afternoon, parents. I'm going to share with you, as Ms. Copeland stated, the mental health resources that's available to your students within Duval County Public Schools. According to the Florida Department of Education, all schools and students are required to have access to mental health services, and that's a Florida state statute. So as a result of that, at various capacities at a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 level, your student will have access to a mental health services. So what does that look like? At a tier 1 level, that's prevention. So they may receive instruction along the areas of mental health, such as Wellness Wednesday, which is a instruction mental health curriculum that occurs during early release days. They also have access to school counselors. All of our elementary schools have at least one school counselor. Our middle schools have at least 2 school counselors, and our high schools have at least 3 school counselors. Our school counselors do more than just academic counseling. They can provide brief solution-focused counseling if a child is dealing with anything from divorce or separation, moving to a new area. So they can do that brief solution-focused counseling with your students. We also have school social workers, and they can provide support to their student as well. They're in their schools at least 1 day a week, so they can provide group counseling for your students as well. And if you find your student is really dealing with a mental health concern, maybe there have been a traumatic incident that occurred in your family or in your neighborhood, then you can refer your student to what we call full service schools, which is a mental health collaborative that we've had with the city and United Way for over 30 years. If that is the case, your first point of contact will be your school counselor. Once they provide the interventions to your student, then that school counselor will refer your child to full service if needed. So on your screen there, you see some information. Crisis is something that we take very seriously in our school district. So if you're at home, you have a student that threatens to kill themselves or attempt to do so, the number is on the screen there that you can call Child Guidance Rapid Response Team, and they will come out and do a Baker Act assessment on your student. We also have universal screening that occurs throughout the months of October and November for all 4th, 6th, and 9th grade students. As I stated earlier, your students have access to mental health therapy through full service schools. We have Wellness Wednesday, which is our mental health curriculum for 6th to 12th grade. And we have resiliency education in our curriculums in our K through 8. If you would like more information about Wellness Wednesday, you can visit duvalschools.org/Wellness Wednesday. If you want information about what's going on in the area of mental health throughout the entire district, you can go to duvalschools.org/SBH, as in school behavioral health, SBH. So as a parent, if you know that your child is presenting signs and symptoms that are indicative of a mental health concern, here's some things you can do. First, you want to talk to your child. Use open-ended, not closed-ended questions. Like, tell me how you feel. Not, are you okay? They're going to say fine, right? Fine. So ask the child to tell me what you're thinking. Tell me how you feel. That's an open-ended question. Also help them to understand that by summarizing what they've told you. You can also talk with the teacher or the school. As I stated, if you feel that there's a mental health concern, your first point of contact would be your school counselor, which is known as your guidance counselor, but they're called school counselors in your school. You can also talk to your pediatrician, because your pediatrician can do various assessments to rule out if what your child is feeling is medical or mental, and they can also send you a referral for a mental health specialist.
Thank you, Katrina. And that is a perfect segue into our partnership with Hazel Health. And we have Miss Christina Hanna on the call with us to talk to you about that.
So Hazel Health is a national school-based telehealth provider. We offer both medical care and mental health care for students, both at home during school hours, at home and at school hours. And all of our providers are licensed in the state of Florida. And telehealth is just all visits that are happening via a tablet, a desktop, or any type of smart device. So some of the benefits with Hazel Health is that there is no cost to any families with students at a public Duval County public school. It also is allowing any parents to stay at work and keep your student in class. So our biggest thing is to make sure that students are cared for and get back to class to feel better so they are able to focus and do their work in class. And we do offer care for all students, no matter if they have insurance, no insurance, and regardless of their immigration status. So as far as medical care goes, it's just a reminder that your student will never receive care without your consent. So your student, for your student, you would have to fill out a consent, Hazel's e-consent form, to allow them to be seen during school. So while at school, if the student goes to the nurse or health aide's office, they would be able to join a visit on a provided iPad to one of our providers and potentially get over-the-counter medication, again, with your consent. So these are offered at school during Monday through Friday during school hours. And again, you can get the same services at home, logging into Hazel's website and getting onto your parent account Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for Hazel's mental health, again, your student would never receive any type of services without a consent, which is permission to do that. And they can get referrals to 2 different pathways. So a school counselor, this is offered in select schools in Duval County. So they could, in these select schools, get the referral from school staff. And a family referral can also be completed by creating an account and then calling our 1-800 number. And these appointments are available home on any type of smart device from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there would need to be someone over the age of 18 at home during those sessions. So in order to consent via our e-consent, you would go to Hazel's website, which is my.hazel.co/Duval Schools, which can also be reached by going to the DCPS website, going to the student and families tabs, and then popular links, and clicking on that Hazel Health link will get you straight to the Hazel website in order to complete that consent.
Alrighty, now we're moving on to the free breakfast and lunch. Every student in DCPS schools is eligible to receive free breakfast and lunch for the 2023-2024 school year. You can visit duvalschools.nutrislice.com/menu in order to see the monthly menus that are available at the schools. They're also available on the school's website or the DCPS app. You can also download, go to myschoolbucks.com or download the app, so you may be able to deposit money into your student's account just in case they want some of those extra goodies, like chips or ice cream or anything like that. Student safety, every school has a safety plan and emergency response teams. It is required for all classroom doors to be locked from the outside, meaning no one from the outside should be able to come into the classroom. Only the teachers and the administrative staff have the keys. The district has highly trained school police department on staff and inside the school. And there's also various monitoring methods, including camera surveillance. There's silent badge alarms that just got put into play for all staff. We also have gates and different kinds of methods to prevent anyone from getting into the school that should not be there. And of course, there are regular emergency drills such as fire drills, red and yellow lockdown drills, tornado drills. They are practicing these constantly throughout the school year. Now the PTA, PTSA, and volunteers. The overall purpose is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. If you do want to join the PTA, you can go directly to your child's school in order to get their membership fee. Every school has a different membership fee. Usually it goes between $5 to $10 depending on the school. If you want to be a volunteer at the school, you can go to www.duvalschools.org/volunteers. We will be having a couple of volunteer sessions for Parent Academy where you can actually speak with a volunteer team and they can guide you through any questions that you may have about being a DCPS volunteer. Volunteers are very important and they're a vital part of the success to Duval County Public Schools. They can help with anything from helping in the classroom to going on field trips, you name it. So if you'd like to volunteer, please go ahead and check it out. And if you want to learn more, you can visit the website or come to join one of the volunteer courses that are coming up.
All right. And I do want to make a special note that the funds that go toward the PT or PTSA does benefit the schools. The fundraisers benefit the schools. Everything goes immediately back to the students, the schools, and the staff. Definitely recommend, highly recommend, 10 out of 10. All right, other helpful courses. If you have found the information tonight of a benefit to you and your family, you may be interested in some upcoming courses. Christina just mentioned to you the DCPS, how to become a DCPS volunteer. Steps are easy, but they are definitely something that needs to be renewed every so often. There are definitely protocols and information you may want to know if you want to participate in field trips or read to your child's classroom or go help the teacher with grading papers or whatever it is. If you want to participate in schools, and I do hope you have an opportunity to do that, you may want to check that out. Mommy, Me, and My IEP. If you are the parent of a child with an IEP, this is a parent leaders course. She wrote it specifically about her journey with her son's IEP process, what she's learned, and how she has gained so much information that she didn't want to hold on to it herself. She wanted to share it with other parents. That's coming up. Of course, we have content on literacy here, but I've got also math and science and social studies. All academic testing areas are covered through Parent Academy. A new course we have coming up, Internet Safety. It's a partnership with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. This will be a face-to-face course, also streamed online. So depending on how you best enjoy learning, we will have both options available. And Detective Bolton, is going to be coming out to share ways in which predators get to our children and how to best educate yourself to help protect them. It's okay to not be okay. Katrina Taylor just spoke to you about some mental health. Her shop will be presenting this course, if not Katrina herself, and sharing with you more specific information about the resources and programs available to your students in our schools and how we can support you in supporting your child and get them the resources they need to keep them healthy. Navigating power struggles, let's be honest, we all are blessed with those every now and then, from 5 years old all the way up. So this is an opportunity to talk about strategies and activities you can do inside the home that may help with communication with your student or with your child, and making sure that things go a little smoother at home so that they'll also go smoother at school. And finally, because we're Parent Academy, parents are not just parents, we're also people. And we want to make sure that we nurture the personal side. We offer many courses for IT just to teach you, to educate you, maybe even polish up that resume. Excel, we cover the entire Microsoft shop. We also talk about how to present yourself maybe in a professional setting, how to have dialogue in social settings. Not all of us thrive in a social way. So we do try to nurture the individual that you are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. You hung in with us like champs. I'm so appreciative, so grateful you were able to join us. If you are not already following us on social media, please do so. I'm going to leave this slide up for a minute. You can scan any one of those QR codes and it will take you directly to our social media page. And you can follow us for immediate postings about upcoming courses. As I said in the very beginning, for those that came in new, Duval is a huge district, and our goal here at Parent Academy is to help shrink it, for lack of a better word. We want to make sure that you've got somewhere, somebody to reach out to answer any questions that you may have. And if we can't answer them, I can assure you that we will make sure that we find the answer for you. We are a fabulous district full of wonderful, talented, and intelligent folks that are coming to work every day to serve the community. Our goal is to help you and your students have the most successful academic year possible. And 2023-2024 school year is it. It's going to be great. If you think of a question and it wakes you up in the middle of the night, shoot us an email, duvalschools.org. Nope, that's our website. Parent Academy at duvalschools.org is our personal email. We will get it and make sure that if we don't answer it, we find and connect you with the person that can answer it. Again, Parent Academy at duvalschools.org. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope that we were able to answer some questions that you had, and that we will be seeing you again in the near future at another course. Take care, everybody. Guests, thank you so much for joining us and bringing your expertise to the table. We always appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you again in the future. Take care and have a wonderful night.